guys, and today we're going to be going over top 5 easiest gods for beginners in Smite to start off playing. Now this isn't necessarily the easiest gods in Smite, because I would think that the easiest generally aren't the best, but these are relatively easy gods. But it's not just about how easy they are, it's how well a beginner can jump into this god and perform for their team. So a really easy god, or easy god, like Raw. Raw is relatively easy. He has a lane clear, he has an AoE heal, and then he just has his 2 that also does damage and blinds the enemy. So, and he has a snipe for result. So you think, oh, he's easy, but if you play Raw and you're a beginner and you're going in and you don't know what you're doing, you could really mess your team up. Because if you're not hitting your lane clear on the lane with Raw and you go to hit an enemy and you miss the enemy, well then you did that for nothing and then you wasted your lane clear. Or if you're popping your heals in wrong places and not healing your team, or not healing the wave or clearing the wave, you can really mess it up. So these are almost full, I wouldn't say foolproof gods, but just really easy gods to start off with in Smite. Number 5 we have here Bastet. Now Bastet necessarily isn't easy, although she is, but the reason I have Bastet is because her poke. She's very, very annoying, and she has one of the easier, most self-explanatory combos in the game. If you don't know Bastet, here's her abilities. Her 1 is a leap, and then it also deals damage. The good thing about this leap is you can leap back, so if you initiate into a fight and you're like, I'm going in, and you're like, oh shit, never mind, you just jump right back. Hit the same button and jump right back. There's a little timer, it should say for 4 seconds, so you have 4 seconds to leap back. Her 2 is a cone ability, but it's also a bleed, and bleeds are always good just because bleeds suck, man. Especially with Bastet, her bleed hits really, really hard early, and this is the ability I would upgrade first. Upgrade her 2 first, and then upgrade her 3, and then the pounce. And ultimate whenever you can. The only problem with Bastet's ultimate is late game, it does nothing. It's only used for split pushing or objective clear in late game, really, or to slow an enemy down if you need to. I'll bring back her abilities so you can see. So the Razor Whip, she's just going to cast it out and bleed. I'll use normal casting so you can see what it looks like real quick, but this is what the ability would look like. Just a little cone, and whenever you hit them, it's going to cause bleed damage. And what bleed damage is just ticks. So rather than me dealing 122 damage flat, it's going to do 24, 24, 24, and just start ticking. So if they pop Aegis and then Aegis runs out, you can still deal bleed damage after that if that's how long it carries on. Her 3rd ability is a projectile, but it doesn't go through anything. Keep that in mind. It doesn't clear a minion wave. It doesn't go through multiple gods. The first thing it hits, it stops on. So you have to keep that in mind. Detonates, just throws out her dagger, which detonates on her target, dealing damage and slowing them. So it is another slow, or it is a slow, I should say, along with her ultimate. Deals some decent damage and slows them. This actually hurts a lot, and I'll show you what it looks like. Let's get normal casting on so you can see real quick. This is what it looks like. Fairly long ability. It is 70 meters. It's the full length of your ruler. And once you hit them, it's just going to do damage, and you see that slow. And once that little effect wears off, they're no longer slowed. Bastet has a pretty easy and devastating combo, especially early game. If you're level 3, let's say you start the game, because when you start the game, you start off at level 3. So we'll show you right here, actually. D level, you're only level 3. And you get your first 3 abilities on. Your jump, your whip, and your slow. Great combo is to jump on them, whip them again, and jump back. You don't have to jump back. You can stay on them and continue to just punish them with basics and stuff. But this is level 3 Bastet poke, because once you do that, they're going to be taking, hopefully they take damage from the jump, which, I mean, right now is dealing 80, and then they're going to take tick damage, which will be 30, 36, maybe 150-ish, something like that, and then they're going to deal damage from that. So you hit all 3 abilities, and not only that, you can jump back to safety and get clear. Usually with assassins, when you go in and you commit, you got to get the kill. The good thing about Bastet is she can jump back. Now keep in mind, if you jump in and you get Athena taunted or a mirror stunned or something like that, and your back runs out, well, you're stuck here, you can't jump back. You have to use it wisely, you have to know the gods you're going to be jumping on and stuff like that. But the reason Bastet is number 5 is just because that combo early is so devastating to hit. you get to see the early, at level 3, the damage we do from just those 2 abilities is crazy. I'm going to put these back on instacast right now just to help me out a little bit. We still have to actually check out our ultimate, which I'll show you right now, which is just her cats. They look like this. You just send 3 cats out, and they will attack the first thing they see. It does get frustrating because sometimes you want them to attack the tower and they just go for the god, or you want them to attack the god and they go for the tower. So you have to work around that, but I'll show you the kind of damage that these things can bust out. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to set the tigers on them. Early game, getting hit for 21 3 times over and over and over hurts. And the thing is, you can run away from them all you want, but you're so slow that they will catch up. Like, they will stick to you and kill you. You're almost forced to turn around and fight them, hopefully under your tower or phoenix. But when you're doing that, you're getting low in damage, and the enemy is trying to finish you off. And probably the enemy Bastet, because likely what's going to happen early game, once she hits 5, you want to find a target. Find a mage, find an assassin, find a squishy, find someone who can't run away, especially if they're not full health. But even if they are full health, as soon as you hit 5, man, jump, send them out, whip them. You can even jump back if you want and just let your pets take care of it. They are going to kill that enemy. Late game, it's not going to do as much. She does fall off big time late game. But for beginners, you're really not going to be into the whole strategic aspect of Smite. It's going to be mainly just going out there, learning the gods, getting kills, and having fun. And Bastet is definitely someone that can do that. And she is an assassin, keep that in mind, so you do have to play a little more careful. But she has that jump pack, which is good. On to number 4. Okay, we are back with number 4, and this is going to be a god that I would be safe to say 100% of people will recognize, and that's Cupid. Everybody knows Cupid. Cupid is one of the popular gods that they have in Smite, along with Loki, Thor, Odin, Zeus, gods like that everyone generally has heard of. The reason I have Cupid as number 4, he is a hunter, and hunters are the carries. They're the ADC, they're the long lane. They are the ones that you just go ahead and jump in their Jansport and have them carry you to victory come late game. So you gotta have a hunter in here. Cupid is an interesting hunter, mainly because you can build him crit based if you want, you can build him attack speed based, you can even build him ability based, which is kind of weird to think about, but you can. That's part of the reason I have Cupid, because you can't really mess up his build, and the other reason is his abilities. While his abilities and his kit necessarily isn't great for ranked, and definitely not great for the SPL and the pros, casuals and beginners, Cupid is fantastic, and I'm going to go over it. His one, we'll check a look at his abilities right quick. Deal some damage, but it also has secondary damage. So you're going to deal damage because you fired an arrow and you hit them. And once you hit them, it's going to slow them. After a short time, it explodes, dealing damage to the target. So you have double damage on your one. So you hit them once, you deal 75 damage. Then it's going to explode and deal 75 more damage. So you have 2 confirmed hits on one ability, unless they Aegis it or something like that. But as long as you hit your heart bomb, you're gonna get extra damage. And you can even damage other opponents if they are foolish enough to walk inside this radius, because beginners a lot of the time won't know what to do. They won't know that's a radius that you shouldn't walk near teammates, and they might do that and get them killed too. So that is a really good ability. His 2, it's a heal. You can never go wrong with gods that have heals, because it allows you to just stay in the game more. Pick up the hearts, heal yourself, or you can even heal teammates. And the good thing is if you heal the teammates, you get mana back. So you place 3 floating hearts on the ground, target picks up the location, heals himself, blah, blah, blah. Cupid regenerates mana for each heart that is picked up by an ally. The mana regen is 30 per heart. So you see, right now, his 2 cost 50 mana at level 1. Keep in mind, you get 30 back per heart. So I throw this out for 50 mana. Teammate picks this up, that's 30 mana back. Teammate picks this up, that's 60 mana back. If I get a third teammate, that's 90 mana back. Right now, my 2 only cost 50 mana, and I'm getting 90 mana in return. So it can also be used as a mana regen tool if you use it smartly. His 3, it's a getaway. And not only that, it's one of, if not the fastest getaway in the game. I think Agni's might be a little quicker. But you got a getaway. So you got double confirmed damage on your 1. You have a heal that will also heal teammates and give you mana regen. And you have a getaway. Good thing about that getaway is it also helps your teammates out, because you notice that I have a speed increase right here. I want you to watch on the bottom left-hand corner, the little guy running in the bottom left-hand corner. It says 365 right now. That is my current movement speed. Whenever I walk onto this, it jumps up to 471. So this increases my movement speed. Well, you're like, well, why would I need that? You already fluttered. You don't need to do it again. Well, that's because your allies also get increased movement speed by this. Cupid flutters forward, leaving a trail behind that increases all allies' movement speed, and it's by 30%. It lasts 6 seconds. So if you're trying to run away and you guys are in a 3v5 and they're like, let's go, flutter away, have your teammates run a little bit faster, and you're good to go. That's great, right? That's it. Nope, because there's one more thing that this ability does. That is gives you just attack speed. By leveling this up, right now I have 4% extra attack speed. I want you to look in the bottom left again. I have 1.07 attack speed. Once I upgrade to 3 again, well, I jumped up because I leveled up, but once I upgrade it again, which should be right now, I'm up to 113. So every time I upgrade that, I get extra attack speed. So you have double confirmed damage, a getaway that also gives you attack speed and helps your teammates get away, a self-heal, a friendly heal, and a mana regen ability, and one of the most team-fighting oriented ults in the game that can even be just used if you're scared. Let's say you're running away, you're like, oh my god, they're gonna get me. Just throw your ult down. They're forced to not walk into that. They can't, because if they do, they're gonna take a lot of damage and get stunned. It deals crazy amounts of damage, as you can see. It also slows them when they're inside of it, so they can't be, you know, walking in it. They're not gonna be, they're gonna be slowed. And whenever it blows up, and if you have, or no, when it blows up, it's still gonna stun them no matter what, I'm pretty sure. Well, mesmerize them. But if you have full stacks on your passive, which if you didn't know what your passive is, those little hearts on the left there, every time you basic attack, you get an extra passive stack. So once you're at full stacks, your abilities will do extra stuff to them, and you can read them in here, which I won't go through right now. But if you have your stacks up in your ultimate, any damage done, or sorry, where's it at here? If Cupid has max heart stacks, the mesmerize is doubled. So if you have max stacks on your ultimate, rather than being mesmerized for 1.5 seconds, they're going to be mesmerized for 3 seconds. So it is kind of key to try to save your stacks for your ultimate. I forgot I had that on Instacast. Now I gotta go do this again. But we'll show you right here what I mean. I'm gonna get full stacks again real quick. And once this blows up, you'll see that long mesmerize that he's hit for. Now, if I hit him, it breaks the mesmerize. That is the one difference between mesmerize and stun. Stun, he will remain stunned no matter what. I can hit him, I can do whatever I want, I can run around and just VEL laugh at him. He's gonna be stunned. Mesmerized, if they take damage, it breaks it. So that is one thing you gotta keep in mind. But yeah, this is the reason I have Cupid as number 4, guys. I mean, he's a relatively safe god. He isn't the best, but for beginners, it does work. Double confirmed damage. Heal. Ally heal. Mana regen. Getaway. Attack speed. Friendly getaway. A team fighting ult that can be used if you're scared. It's the perfect god for beginners, and not only that, it's a god that everyone's gonna know, so it'll help you get accustomed to Smite and maybe enjoy the game a little more. Now on to number 3. Okay, we are back, and number 3 is another fairly familiar god, and that is Odin. So another one that most people will probably know. Cupid obviously more popular because of Valentine's Day and everything, but Odin's still relatively popular, especially if you are a fan of movies. Odin is the father of both Thor and Loki, which are 2 more gods that you should know. So we're going to jump into his abilities. His one is a jump. So you have a jump, you can jump walls, get away, which of course is always helpful. But it also deals a lot of damage. And the cooldown is reduced whenever you upgrade it, and those are always helpful on abilities. His 2 is a shield. So if you're, you know, in a tough situation, you're taking damage, you get a free shield. Not only that, the shield can also do damage, and massive amounts of damage at that. If you combo his shield and his jump together, whenever you land, you're gonna deal massive amounts of damage, because if you see here, the shield will not expire while Odin is using lunge, and will always detonate upon landing to deal bonus damage. I'll read you the ability here, just because it is kind of confusing. Odin summons a flock of ravens that creates a shield around him. When the shield expires, it explodes outward, dealing damage to nearby enemies. So you deal more damage based on the shield health. So basically, if I pop the shield, this is what it looks like. It's going to explode and deal damage no matter what. But if I'm taking hits and someone's hitting me, my shield is going to go down a little bit, and then whenever it detonates, or if it does detonate, it's not going to deal as much damage. You deal more damage when the shield is at full health. That is why a good combination to do, which I'll show you his jump right now. That's his jump. Fairly easy. When you combo both of them together, you get some crazy damage that looks a little bit like this. 139 and then 97. Keep in mind, we are level 5. That is going to chunk someone down big time, and I mean big time. Odin is one of, if not the most scary gods to play against early. In fact, just in the SPL, he was focused banned by Energy, I think every single set. Energy is a team that just doesn't want to play against Odin. His ultimate's annoying, his early damage is annoying, his bird, everything about him is annoying. And not only that, he's pretty easy to play. He's self-explanatory. What I just showed you is going to be, that's what you're going to do all game. You're going to activate your 2 and jump on people. Or if you don't have your 2 up, you're just going to jump on people. Or if you're running away, you pop your shield. And one thing is, if you're super low health, let's say you got 100 health left. Oh, well, now you don't. They're chasing you. They're chasing you. Jump to the wall to safety, and then you're free. So you got a shield that saves you from getting killed. You got a jump that saves you from getting killed. And then you can combo them together to deal crazy amounts of damage early on, guys. I mean crazy. Keep in mind, though, people know, as an Odin player, they're going to know once that happens, a jump is going to follow. Everyone's going to be ready for it. You have to keep that in mind. Sometimes it's best to just jump and deal some damage rather than the full combo. Unless you're coming from the jungle, you know. If you're coming, you know, from over here and they don't see you and you're just going to gank, yeah, you can pop the shield and then jump on them because they won't know what hit them. They'll just jump the wall and they'll be like, whoa, where's my health? Now, his third ability, you can also combo in. This is what it does. It's just an AoE. It doesn't deal a lot of damage, but it deals enough, and you can see it's pretty self-explanatory. You combo on, you jump, and then you hit your 3. So it'll look like this. Slow him down. It deals 38 twice at level 1, which, you know, is decent, but that's not the best part about it. The best part about it is it slows for 40% at all ranks. It's a big time slow, and the slow lasts anywhere from 2 seconds to 2.8 seconds. So it's a really good ability for that. His ultimate is probably revered as one of the top ults in the game, and that's just because it sets up everything. It's called Ring of Spears. This is what it looks like. Notice how I can leave, friendlies can leave, enemies cannot leave. That means enemies are stuck in here and they just gotta walk around and hope and pray they don't get hit. And you're like, oh, well, they can heal while they're in it, right? No. Healing reduction, all healing. 100%, no matter what, you cannot get healed if you are the enemy inside of an Odin ultimate. Now, enemies that die inside this ring grant stacks. So, attack speed reduction, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60%. Physical power, 5 per stack, max of 10 stacks. So basically, you just want to ult whenever you can, because it has a 75-second cooldown, and generally, when you're playing Odin, the 2 items you'll want to get will be Breastplate and Jotun's Wrath. It's just kind of a standard. You don't have to. That's just a common recommendation because that gives you 40% cooldown really quick. Obviously, get boots before this. If you're not getting boots first item, my God, please do that. But eventually, you get those 2. And now you're down to 45 seconds. 45 seconds. Every single team fight, I can use this ult. And it's very obnoxious. And especially when you combo it with something like Blink. Because, you know, you're sitting there, the team's like, all right, let's go, guys, let's go. We're gonna, no. No. And then you do that, you run away, and if you have a Hoyi on your team, a Poseidon, a Hades, a Cerberus, anything with an AoE ultimate, and AoE is just a big area, they can place their ult inside of your ult and just wipe out any existence inside of it. That is the reason Odin is number 3 on this list, between the Bird Bomb combo and then slowing them down and just keeping up with them. I mean, I'm dealing 81 on basic attacks, 121 on the downswing. Level 5. And that ultimate is always going to be the game changer no matter what for Odin. It makes him Odin. Now we're going to be going on to number 2. Number 2 is Neath. The good news about this is she's free no matter what. If you didn't pay anything in this game and you just downloaded it for free, you get Neath. And more than likely you've already played as Neath because she's the first tutorial character. She's the most played god in Smite by far. Not even Loki's played more than her. because she's free. She's the first one, and it's good that she's good. You know, she's viable. She's not a top-ranked pro league player or anything, although she was last season. She could be played in both solo, mid, and ADC role, actually. But the reason Neath is really good for beginners, and you're like, well, if she's that good, why isn't she number 1? You'll see in a little bit. The reason she's number 2 is she has amazing lane clear. Let's look at her abilities real quick. Her first one is her lane clear. It is called Spirit Arrow. I'll show you what it looks like real quick. It just looks like that. Send it out. It's your lane clear. It clears the lane, honestly, pretty amazing. I don't know what level exactly, but it doesn't take long to be able to clear lane. On top of that, it also deals damage to enemies, which is always good. But it also roots them. Roots them for 1.2 all the way to 2 seconds. So you fire a shot that passes through everything. Each enemy hit takes damage and is rooted. So if you go through 3 gods, oh, well, all 3 are rooted. Now, if the Spirit Arrow hits a broken weave, the weave detonates, dealing an additional 100% of damage. And you're like, what is that? This is where Neath becomes a little more complicated, and it's not hard to get this aspect of her down, but her passive is weaves. So every time I kill an enemy god, which you can't kill these Odin bots, but let's say I were to kill him, he would drop a weave right here. And in fact, I guess it's a good time to show you her number 3 ability, which is a backflip. That's really all it is. You backflip, you deal damage. It's not a lot of damage, but it is damage, and you also slow the enemy. So in your 1, you have a root, and in your 3, you have a slow. And the slow lasts all the way up to 4.5 seconds at max rank, so it's intense. This is what the weave looks like. Whenever I backflip, I create a weave. So I can create another one right here. And that's what that would be. Whenever an enemy god dies, a weave will be there. So this is what they were talking about for your number 1. If I were to just pass through minions or hit an enemy god, you know, that's the damage I would do. 130 right now. However, if I hit the weave, it's going to do extra damage. And you can see where it's going to be, because right now you don't see the AoE. Once you pass over it, you'll see. That's the indicator that you know you're going to hit a weave, you're going to deal bonus damage. When you do that, it's going to explode. So a good combination to do, and what a lot of annoying Neaths do, will be, you know, you walk up to the wave, and as soon as you get to the wave, let's say this Odin bot is the enemy wave. As soon as you get there, boop, just backflip out. That way you can get out of safety, and then if you hit the weave, it's going to blow up all the minions and deal extra damage to the wave. But not only that, if an enemy god is standing in there, let's say they're playing as Osiris, and in order to clear the wave, they have to be up inside the wave. Well, that's far enough. Kaboom. An extra 130 damage right on top of them. We already went through the backflip. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's a good way to drop weaves, though. Her 2 looks like that. It is also a damaging ability, but it heals you. Neath unravels the world weaves, damaging all enemies in the target area, reducing their attack speed, healing Neath, and any broken weaves in the area, heal Neath additionally. So you do damage with this ability. You give a debuff to the enemy that reduces their attack speed. So if you're playing a hunter against a hunter, that's really good. Which lasts up to 6 seconds, keep in mind. 2 seconds at rank 1, 6 seconds at max rank. You also heal, and if you have a weave down, you heal even more. So basically what the weaves do is just double everything. If I have a weave down and I hit the 1, it's going to deal double damage. If I have a weave down and I hit the 2, oh, well, that's not where the weave was at, and I forgot that was on Instacast. But if I were to hit the 2, I'll show you right now. It's going to heal me for double, which obviously I'm full health, you can't see that right now. Now her ultimate is just the icing on the cake. So not only do you have a really good lane clear that can double damage up, you have a heal that's also a nerf to enemies, a big time nerf to enemies actually. With this ability, you have a really good escape and a backflip. The good thing about this escape is you don't have to turn to use it. Usually if you have a dash, you gotta turn around and then dash. You just backflip. Of course you have to turn around and run after that, but pretty good. The only problem with Neath and her backflip is if you're playing against an Awelix, their mouths are watering, just waiting for you to backflip to pull you in. So keep that in mind. If you see a Awelix anywhere near you on the enemy team, be careful with your backflips. But what is the icing on the cake with Neath is the ultimate. She gets down, and she just deals free damage. I mean, it locks onto a target. Seeking this target through obstacles, enemy guys deal damage, are stunned, and the arrow can be fired quicker for diminished results. So once I lock on, I can fire it right now. but it wouldn't do as much damage. You can see the little area charging up around the circle, and when it's max ranked and it's all the way charged up, that's when you know you're good to go. Thing to keep in mind is you can't target anyone that's not visible on the map. So you see this Odin bot right here? I can't see him. He's not visible. For some reason I can see this Raw bot, but I can't see the Odin bot. Once I get into range, now I can see the Odin bot and lock onto him. If you have if you have friendly vision on an enemy though, so say you're in solo lane and all the way in duo lane, they're really low. Just say, hey, duo laner, get some vision on them. Get vision on them, finish them off. Deal some pretty good damage. It can also be used to set up a stun. You could also ult them and then stun them again to get double stun on them. Heal up, backflip, stuff like that. So Neath has a lot of combo potential. You can combo her 1-2, her 3-1, her 3-2, her ultimate 1, her 1 ultimate. You can combo a lot of things together with Neath, and she's safe, she heals, she clears, she's got a global ult, she's the beginner god. That is why she's number 2. Like, well, who could be number 1? Well, I'll show you that right now. Number 1, a lot of you probably guessed it, is Cupid. He is, in my opinion, without a shadow of a doubt, the single easiest god in Smite. And the reason is, his entire kit is nothing but that. If you've been hit by those tornadoes late game, you already know how annoying it is. Late game, they tick for a lot. We'll look at his abilities real quick. I'll start off with the Whirlwind, so that's his main ability. Usually I go 1, 2, 3, 4, but you summon a tornado at the ground location you want, and smaller tornadoes branch off onto enemies. So if they walk into the tornado or you cast that tornado on them, they're going to get hit with another tornado, and it's going to deal tick damage to them. If they walk out and walk back in it, it's going to reset it and start that all over again. They can also get close to enemy teammates, I believe. Let me read this. Smallest unit branches off in the radius. Deal every 0.5 seconds. So it deals fast tick for 2.5 seconds and is refreshed if they stay within the radius for a maximum of 12 ticks. You can't give it to your enemy or your friendly. So if you have a tornado on you, you can walk by an ally and it won't transfer the tornado to them. I thought it would, but I was confusing that with Zeus's chains. So the tornado is really, really, really good lane clear too. And the reason it's so good, not only because it clears like instantly at a low level, you can throw that and then run under your tower. You don't have to stay in the lane. You can literally be the most passive player in the world and just clear lane, run under tower. Clear lane, run under tower. And just watch it get cleared. That is why he's so annoying, because of his 3. His 3 makes him that easy. And it wouldn't be as bad if it didn't deal a lot of damage, but it deals a lot of damage late game. His first ability, a little harder to hit. It's called Zephyr. Fires a projectile. It's pretty short, but it's bursty. You can see here the base damage that it'll do. It also slows them for up to 50%. This is just what it looks like. It is called Zephyr. Check it out real quick. Boom. Pretty self-explanatory. Just a short burst. You pair that with something like Polynomicon, and you hit your 1 basic attack. Ooh, really, really nice. And his 2's been changed a lot. All it is just a speed buff though. It's your escape. Although Kukulkan really doesn't have an escape, but we'll go through it real quick. Speed boost is strong at first, but gradually slows down over the 4 seconds. He also cleanses himself of slows and becomes immune to slows, which is really good because there's a lot of slows in this game. And it's good to be slow immune and never be hit by slows. So you'll see when I pop the 2, he starts off fast, and he gradually will slow down until he's at the end. Not the most exciting ability, but it's just used to get away, really. Kukulkan isn't an exciting god. Literally, the only thing you're going to be doing is that. That's it. You just throw whirlwinds on top of people. And it's got a relatively short cooldown. You see, I have no items built. Nothing, and I already got 5 seconds left before I can cast it again. That Zephyr hits really hard late game, especially when you pair it with Polynomicon. You also get a speed boost to kind of get away, and the one thing that separates Kukulkan from everyone else is this ultimate, especially if you can chain it with like an Ares or something, and if Ares can pull everybody in, watch how much damage this does at level 5, like no items level 5. 328. Kukulkan just summons a dragon and knocks out everything in his path. And it's almost late game. It's pretty much guaranteed one-shot kill to anybody. Obviously, if you're facing an Athena and she's full magical build, you're not going to kill her. But, you know, when you're hitting mages, assassins, and even warriors a lot of the time, you're practically going to one-shot them come late game. This thing hits for a lot of damage. And it's good to counter gods, especially a god like Loki. If you hear Loki going invisible and you're by yourself, you're like, oh shit, and you think he's going to ult you, kind of get ready, embrace it, and then as soon as you see him or hear him jumping on top of you, pop that ult, and it's going to wipe him out. You might die in the process, but at least you'll get a little bit of revenge. I know Kukulkan was relatively short, but there's really nothing more to go over with him, guys. This is why he's #1, the easiest god for beginners, because of the 3. He's known as the 3 god because this is what you do. And turn around and run back under towers so you don't get killed. And you just clear lane, you get stacks, you get to late game, and once you're at late game, that combined with the poly is going to hurt, and that's just going to wipe out anybody. That is why Kukulkan is, in my opinion, the best god and the easiest god for beginners to start out with. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like and hit subscribe for more content like this. Because if you are looking up this video, you're probably new to Smite, you probably don't know what's going on, and I post videos, I try to at least daily, and I post a lot. So you might find some helpful tools for my channel and my videos, so be sure to subscribe, guys. And until next time, peace.